everyone, welcome to Deep Dives with Dogs. Well, today we're going to talk about the Battle of Midway. So, Battle of Midway, June 4th, 1942 is when that takes place. Battle of Midway is kind of an important battle. Midway itself is a semi-important island. It's not the most important, of course. It's not like Pearl Harbor, for instance, which is very important, but Midway does have its own um, importance. It uh, is a great stop point. It's great for communication. It's great for potentially refueling, um, and it's a decent defensive point as well. Um, so obviously the United States does not want to lose it. The Japanese will attack and then be thrown back, like I said on this day. Um, but there's quite a bit of uh, interesting things that happen with Midway. Midway has a little bit of espionage attached to it. The battle does. That being that originally, so the Americans knew an attack was coming, but they weren't quite 100% sure where this attack was going to be. So what they do is they have Midway um, send out fake, hey, we have issues here or here. And the idea is they're going to put those out, and if the Japanese respond to those, saying, hey, Midway has this down or this down, they know it's Midway. And that's that's exactly what happens. Midway says, hey, I believe it's a sewage thing that they have backed up. They say, hey, we have this backed up. Um, and, they report it. It's not real. It's fake, obviously. But it's then picked up that the Japanese report, hey, blah, 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 has this. And once they say blah, 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 whatever I can't remember the exact code word that they had used for Midway, the Americans know, okay, that's Midway's code word. So then they reference it back. They see, oh, Midway is going to be attacked. So they send out U.S. ships, carrier ships, which the Japanese just really don't think is possible. Before the Battle of Midway, there is this war game that they do, the Japanese do, and this war game, it's like, okay, here's the attack scenarios, here's how we can defend ourselves, things like that. Well, one not higher ranking officer, but someone of higher rank, but not the highest rank, let's say, says to the captain, "Hey, what happens if the Americans have aircraft carriers at Midway?" And they said, "Nah, it's not possible. That's unfair." Blah blah blah. Now they did. That's obviously very much been spoken about, but they did at least think of the idea, but they thought, no, it's not possible. But that will be their undoing, realistically. They didn't necessarily fully plan for the United States to have their carriers at Midway. And so the Japanese attacked Midway Island. They, when they're attacking it, they keep getting attacked by planes. Now, initially, they kind of think, oh, okay, it's just American planes on the island defending themselves, whatever, and the Japanese ships keep getting attacked, keep getting attacked, keep getting attacked. And then it's like, what's going on? The American ships, the American planes are getting thrown back. It's not necessarily they're not being very victorious. The Japanese Zeros, not necessarily just the Zeros, but the Japanese pilots are more trained, more experienced, better pilots, just really. But America has one thing going that the Japanese does not: knowledge. The Americans know that these are where the Japanese carrier groups are, and so they're attacking. And the Japanese do not even realize at this point that there are American carriers in the vicinity. Mayhem likes to get too close to this road here. He's just a little turd. So I gotta move him really quick. But yeah, so the Japanese don't know this. I'm sure they realized, of course they probably would have realized eventually after so many planes. And while the early waves during this battle, the Japanese are winning pretty consistently, one thing becomes very quickly known. The Japanese planes are not able to re uh, refuel. They're not able to reload. Their planes are very much running out of ammunition and fuel because they have to keep being up in the air to defend against these waves and waves of American planes. So as this keeps happening, the Japanese start to lose planes, and then they start to lose even more and more. And eventually, the tide of this battle gets turned where the Americans, I'm just going to be honest, they were losing. They weren't doing too well. But because they have so many planes that the Japanese just really weren't prepared for, the Japanese get overwhelmed and they lose pretty handily. This will be a pretty crushing defeat for Japan. Not the biggest, really, of the war with the United States, especially in naval battles, but this will be a pretty devastating naval battle. Um, the Japanese, if they wanted to do what their plans were just stall the United States till the American public's like, yeah, we don't really want to be in this war anymore, and then they'd be able to keep their little empire that they had worked for and get the oil from the United States. That's one of the reasons that they attack. The United States cuts off their oil. So if they can wear them out, hey, it'll be all good. But this battle completely screws over Japan. They lose way more than they needed to, or than they wanted to, for sure. Yeah, planes and boats, some of the boats and stuff that they lose, yeah, that sucks. The real big loss for Japan is the experience. The experience of the pilots and the experience of the Navy. And that's stuff you can't just replace right away. And it will haunt Japan, of course. But it shows that America's not quite out of this war yet either, which is very good for the United States, of course. But that's going to do it for this video. If you guys like the video, leave a like. If you have any ways I can improve on these videos, comment down below. I just appreciate your feedback. And as always, subscribe. It really does help out the channel. Thank you.